Welcome back to another season of Courtside. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chris Talley. Coach, welcome back here to the set here of RC TV. Sixth season here as the skipper for the Rams. Third season back here in the studio doing the show here for us.
Yeah, it's a contract year here for Courtside, Coach, but it's great to be back. Excited for another season of hoops and, more importantly, Courtside.
And we've already got the season off and running. You guys had your opening weekend games with the Suburban CB South and CB West. You guys went 1-on-1. But before we dive into those games, it's been a long time since here. We've had some kids graduate from this program.
Yeah.
And you guys got some kids back, and you had a lot of summer basketball here. So just fill us in on, where the Rams stand with everything right now.
Yeah, it's always exciting to have a new senior class, to see which guys put in the work and get an opportunity to showcase all the hard work they did over the summer. But then you have some new faces, some young guys coming in that are, getting to experience, varsity basketball for the first time. The off season's always long, it's grueling, but you do it because you want to be prepared for this time of year, and hopefully that's where we're at now, and I'm ready for the grind, Coach.
Yeah, and some changes in Pac basketball this year.
Yeah.
Used to be 13 league games. Now you're going to play 16. You're going to play the division twice, and now you're going to play all 6 schools on the small side. So it really narrows your non-league schedule out there, and you already used 2 of them essentially with that with the opening weekend tip.
Yeah. So from a league standpoint, I think our league playoff is still important to everybody. I think the atmosphere that the Final 4, Final 5, Final 6, whatever.
However many you got now, yeah.
I think that is pretty exciting, and everybody in our league is still, hungry for that championship, and that's important to everybody. So adding those 3 games makes it more equitable, and I think, from the boys' side, everybody was happy to see that change. From a big picture, more globally, that shrinkens your non-league games, so you have to be pretty creative as to how you're scheduling your non-league games to make sure you're getting enough PowerPoints and challenging your team and preparing yourself if your goal is, district and state playoffs.
So just want to so the league playoffs, we're at 6 now, right?
Yeah.
So each division champ's still going to be bye. Am I correct in this right here?
Yeah.
And then the next 4 best records, is that the way it's going? Or you have to have 2 from each division too? Or?
No, I don't think you have to have 2 from each division.
So you could literally, if it would be the way, it could be 5 from one division and the league champ from the other side.
Yeah.
It could be.
I
don't think
so.
It could be mathematically, but that's the idea. It doesn't need to be 3 and 3 is the idea.
Yeah, it typically, I don't think will be balanced like that ever. That would be a hard situation to have. But from my understanding, each league champ is in, from the small school side and the big school side, the Liberty and Freedom.
Freedom, yeah, that sounds right, yeah.
And then the next best 4 records, so.
And who's last year Pottstown was the host. Is Springford the host this year?
Yeah.
So it's an automatic preseason. Boys host is Springford.
Yeah, voted amongst the ADs, the athletic directors. So for, people out there that, are wondering how does that happen, it's not Coach Talley, lobbying to have league playoffs here at Springford. We had it here a few years ago, and then Pottstown hosted, Norristown hosted, Boyertown's hosted in the past, Park Valley. So it's just our year.
Our year for hosting.
Yep.
All right, so we saw some names in the box score. We saw Bobeck, we saw Baker, we saw Hagan. Those guys are returning guys for you. Made some big contributions. Talk about your returning guys and some new guys that we're going to see in some box scores, and hopefully you think can make some contributions for the Rams this year too.
Yeah, I think Baker is the household name. He's like Nestor, where you feel like he's been around for 10 years. This is his senior year. He's gotten bigger, stronger, faster. He's closing in on 1,000 points. Which,
really?
Yeah. Being part of the Springford basketball fraternity, Coach, that's not a very long list of players. So, that's a great opportunity for Noah. Then you have Robert Bobeck. He started for us last year, and again, there's something about when you're senior, you're just bigger and you're stronger and you're just more poised for the season. And I think that's where
what you've
he's
seen for him. Yep.
Yep. And then you mentioned Hagan. he's another senior that figures into our rotation this year. He's played a lot of basketball, over the summer, and he started last year as a junior, so he's back for his senior year as well. And then when you start about other guys that maybe were on the varsity roster last year but played more JV basketball, I think you got to start with Trey Medeiros.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll open up some eyes, and he's got everything that he needs to have a breakout junior year. He's 6'4", he's got length, he's got athleticism, and I think he'll have some dunks, and he'll catch.
Oh, we like the dunks. No dunks open. Do we have any dunks opening weekend?
Nah, not opening
Not yet.
weekend.
Okay, all right. Maybe if they come out for the Norristown game, there can be some fly slam and jam action going on here.
I hope somebody has a slam dunk, maybe to ignite the crowd and
Get things going.
Yeah.
But we need the student body out here another year too, right? Got to get the SF Gameware, or whatever they call themselves now on the Twitter machine.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's important that we get a great crowd. It's the winter time. What are you going to do on a Tuesday night or Thursday or Saturday afternoon? It's best to take it in town, and you'll see some good basketball in a tough league this year.
All right, Coach. Great stuff right there. We're going to take a break here, and we'll talk about that opening weekend for you, all right?
You got it, Coach.
All right, make sure you stay tuned through this commercial break, and we'll recap the games with CB South and CB West.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Courtside. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chris Talley. All right, Coach, here, opening weekend. It's been a long tradition here for Springford Suburban Pack Challenge, whatever you want to call it. And you've been playing CB South and CB West. Usually a host of a Pack school and usually a host of the Suburban school. I guess Springford and CB South were the hosts this year. And, I feel like, once again, you come out of the weekend 1-1.
Yeah.
And it just kind of seems like that's, for however many years, it's tough to go 2-0 that opening weekend because you're playing Friday night and then you're turning around and playing that Saturday afternoon game. And you're playing really good competition from that Suburban League there too. Yeah,
last year we did go 2-0, but it never feels like we go 2-0. Mm-hmm. And this year we were trying to go back-to-back 2-0. It didn't happen. We went 1-1, but we didn't go 0-2, and we avoided that. Talking to the CB coaches before the game, it's something I don't think either of us want to give up. The way we view each other is we have similar programs, similar size schools. We should be able to compete with each other every year, and you want to know that opening weekend where you're at, and the best way to do it is to play good competition. So 1-1, 2-0 is always the goal. 1-1 is what happened, and at this point, you got to move forward.
Usually, this has been Pottstown in the past as the other team, but Pottstown's out, so now you got to, if you're going to keep it, maybe find a new Pack school because you had a traveler in for the weekend coming in from New York, right?
Yeah, it was Amherst High School. From what I'm told, they're outside of Buffalo.
Okay.
They came down and played the
CBs,
the CBs, and I think that coach had a connection with one of the CB West coaches, and next year we're lobbying for another Pack school to join. I think I have my feelers out. We may have some breaking news at some point. But,
okay. But it looks like the tradition is going to keep going here.
Yeah.
Keep the thing going with you guys and.
Regardless, we're in.
Okay. And this was your year, the host. You were hosting school, so opening night, Friday night, the whole PIAA starts. You guys host CB South and win an overtime game. Kind of game you got to lead a little bit. They come back, find a way to tie the game, and then really kind of held the fort down in overtime.
Yeah, I think it's the stereotypical first game. When you talk to coaches, that first game is just scary because everybody's excited, everybody's ready to go. It's some kids' senior years. It's a home opener, and it was everything that you would think of: sloppy, injuries, overtime. Not just both teams trying to figure out rotations. I think the referees were. They were fine, but they were trying to figure out their alignments, working with a new crew.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was in foul trouble on both teams, and then overtime happened, and I think that was only fitting for the way that game played out.
Okay, so we're going to get some real information for the people out there.
Yeah.
You're one positive you took away from the weekend, and one thing the Rams really got to get better at here moving forward here too.
We went into overtime without 3 starters, and in that 4-minute overtime session, we locked down defensively with a couple of guys that may have not been in that starting rotation. They figured into the rotation,
Okay.
Maybe at 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th man at some point, but that group went out in overtime. We didn't sub. They locked down and shut them out in overtime. So to see guys step up, play bigger roles than that they're used to, was a huge positive for us.
All right, what's something the Rams have to work on here, especially after your opening weekend?
Defensively, typically we're better this time of year defensively than we are offensively, and I would say right now they're equal. We're not where we need to be offensively. We're not where we need to be defensively. I think we got to hang our hats on the defensive end a little bit more and toughen up on the rebounds, and just can't expect Baker and Bobek to get every rebound. It's got to be a team effort.
Collective
for sure.
effort. All right, good stuff right there. We got some highlights here. Let's check out the highlights from Springford CB South.
Okay. Yeah, this is our home opener. We're in white, and we're running transition just kind of like always. And there's Kovaleski. That was an early 3. It was good to see Pat get on the board early. And then we're just in a half court set here, trying to get Baker the ball. He did a nice job stealing, and Schlingo hits a good 3, Coach.
It looks like you guys are making a conscious effort once they get the ball into the post this year.
I think that's our strength. You have a 3-year starter in Baker, a 2-year starter in Bobek, and
And not too many guys in the league are as big as Bobek either is too.
No, or as strong as Baker.
Yeah.
So when that's your advantage, as a coach, you got to find ways to take advantage of that. There's Dante Benani, who had a huge game, had 3 threes that night, and he's a gamer. It was nice to see him.
There's a deflection on the defensive end there,
Yep.
and you want to go with it.
And you got another loose ball by Angro, which that's all in overtime or in the 4th quarter, late in the game. So it was good to see, us come up with some loose balls and everything. Defensively there, you mentioned deflections. I think in all these clips, you saw a lot of tip passes and active hands, and that was good to see.
I would also say, just watching the clips, it looked like there was a little bit more patience. I know sometimes it's a quick offense, it's an early offense for you out there. Is that something you're talking about? Let's value the ball a little bit more in possessions too?
Yeah.
Especially when you're not in transition.
Yeah. When your strength is Bobek and Baker, everybody knows it's not like I'm,
Giving away this.
giving
house
away.
secrets,
Yeah. If transition's not there, then we got to get them the ball, right? So I think a little bit more patience might be in the cards at points this year. I'm never going to say we should slow it down, but I want to make sure Baker and Bobek touch the ball.
Get touches on the offense. All right, so then you quick turnaround and you travel to CB South, but you're playing CB West.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys, not only you've had some battles here in the past, not only in this opening weekend, but you've played them in district, you played them in postseason basketball. Well-coached team out there, and they just kind of had their number there, had your guys' number on that Saturday afternoon game.
Yeah, I feel like I say it every year at Courtside. That's our non-league rival, so to speak, and they feel the same way. It was a pretty good atmosphere at CB South playing CB West on Saturday afternoon, and they lost a lot of guys from a team that won a state game last year. But like every year, they just kind of reload, and this year's no different. It was a good game. They got us this year, and down the stretch, they had a kid hit 3 threes, and to their credit, they knocked down some shots, and I don't think I made adjustments that maybe I should have made down the stretch there on their guard, and so there's some things as a coach you always want back, and that's something that.
Yeah, and I think you would also say, as a game, you said their ability to make shots, and you guys, you admit it, inability to shoot the ball really well down there too, right?
Yeah, at one point in the game, we were 0 for 16 from 3.
Yeah.
So, and we turned the ball over. So the fact that we
You
were
were
0
still
for
in the
16,
game, yeah.
turned the ball over as we did, I guess that's a positive, but we got to clean it up, and you got to make shots. Can't go 0 for 16 from 3.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at the highlights from Spring Forward to CB West.
All right. Yep, it's a little confusing since we're at CB South, but playing CB West.
Here you are in the blue, though.
Yep, Schlingo. He's one that hit a couple threes in both games, which was good. And when the ball goes inside and outside, good things happen, and that's why Bobeck was able to get that. Another loose ball with Baker leading the way. You could see here everybody's rotating, slide down. I don't know who that guard was. I think it might have been Schlingo or Scrocky, but that rotation, that's a hard concept to get in high school, but Schlingo and Scrocky are pretty good at that. There's that patient offense that we're looking at, Coach.
Get your touch inside.
Right. And there's
They look at the post right there and relocation by your guard.
Yep, Benani again. When it goes inside and out, that's when high school teams are at our best. Not a good closeout there from Benani, but Baker able to get out, get a tip, and then
go the other way.
He was rewarded for his hard work, which is good to see there. Pretty good trap in the corner, and that leads to another transition basket when if you can get 8 to 10 points in transition, that's.
And you saw right there, that's what CB West is really trying to do, get that ball in that middle of the court out there and kind of make you make decisions out there, but they're able to get a deflection with it.
Yep.
There's another big 3.
Yep. Schlingo, I think he was another consistent one
and
for us.
He came in, made some contributions for you last year, a little bit. Once again, larger role, and like you said, it's the opening weekend's it's a real good barometer of where you stand and who you can almost trust, and all right, maybe they're not quite ready for the limelight here a little bit too.
Yeah, I think if any coach says they have their rotation nailed down and solidified, it's
fake news.
It is, unless you're playing 5 guys and you're not subbing, then sure. But we're looking for guys at this point to settle into their roles, whatever that may be, and this is a big week to figure that out.
Yeah, all right, Coach. Well, don't give them too much here. We got a preview. Pack basketball starts this week. Tonight here against the Norristown Eagles, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll preview this game with Norristown and Methacton.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again, it's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to Courtside. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chris Talley. All right, Coach, you're going to start pack basketball here, and you're going to dive right into what people would probably argue the highest 2 best-looking teams out there in the pack out there. You got Norristown here tonight, and then you're going to go to Methacton, I think is a Thursday night out there, and you got returning Pac champion Methacton, the returning their best 2 guys out there, and you got Norristown, who won the division last year, made state basketball, and has everybody back there too, plus guys too. So like you said here, the cream of the crop here to start Pac basketball.
Yep. Tuesday, Thursday, you're going to find out real quick where you're at. I think, to start with Norristown, they have everybody back from last year, plus they have another all-league player as a sophomore who missed his junior year. He's back in their lineup. And then, Aaron Reddish, that's a...
We've heard the last name on the TV a little bit here this season so far.
That's the big off-season acquisition for Norristown. And, to add those 2 pieces to a team that returns everybody is, it's scary. And, but for them, they have pretty lofty goals that go beyond the Pac, so it's going to be a good first league home game for us.
And they're obviously battle tested. They renewed a rivalry with Plymouth White Marsh. They opened up their new gym and lost a tough one down there. And make sure everybody knows there, PW has a 7'3" kid out there headed to Florida State too.
He was announced at 7'4".
Oh, they called him 7'4" in the pregame. All right, I read somewhere 7'3". So.
And I saw the game, and PW literally would get the ball at half court and just throw it up to him.
And let him go get it.
I mean, they did run some half court offense, but they literally just threw it up in the air. He would jump up and get it.
And it seems like he also has some perimeter game a little bit too. Made a couple threes in the game, I think.
3 of them, three threes. Yeah,
all
but
right.
as
so
far,
they were tested that opening weekend out there, and they're going to be ready to go for you guys coming here tonight.
Coming
Tuesday night.
here, and last year I think they went undefeated in the Pac, or they may have had 1 loss. They were the regular season champs, and we ended their title hopes
you
as
beat
a
them
Pac title
in that semifinal round.
So the kids realize, that the last time they played a Pac game, they lost. It was the Springford. That they're going to be ready, and I'm sure this game circled on their calendar.
All right, and then you're going to get Methacton, obviously also battle tested. They played a team from Australia, Box Hill, which is where Ben Simmons was from. Lost a nail biter then. I had him beat a little bit, and then kind of Methacton or Box Hill found a way to win at the end of the game out there. But they returned 2 of the league's best players out there, and Duda and Woodward out there then too.
Yeah, I mean, essentially they lost 1 starter from last year. They have everybody back. Woodward 6'9", and he's not
still growing probably out there some way.
And he's not a sophomore anymore. He's a junior, which is 6'9" in any league is going to give you some fits at the high school level. And then Duda led the area in threes, and he was one of the league leaders in scoring. So, it doesn't get any easier after Norristown.
And that's a tough atmosphere heading up there. In fact,
it's home, actually.
Oh, it's home. You go back-to-back with these homes. Usually you go home and away. So home to start the season out here against these teams, Ram Gymnasium.
Yeah, that's, we don't want to confuse the student section.
No, you can't give them too much to think about. So we're home Tuesday and Thursday against the cream of the crop in the Pac right there.
You got it.
All right, Coach. We're off and running here. Season 3. Smooth sailing. We're going to be coming back next week, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it.
All right, well, best of luck to you and the crew this week in those games.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, make sure you tune in next week as we recap the games with Norristown and Methacton. For the head coach, Chris Talley, I'm John Brennan. See you next time, Courtside.